Awesome. Thank you so much, Andy. And good morning, afternoon, or evening, everybody. My name is Makena Barickman. I use she, her pronouns. I am a program manager on the SQL Experiences team here at Microsoft. And I just want to thank you so much for tuning in from wherever you're at, no matter what time it is. I'm really excited to be here for the fifth New Stars of Data conference. I've been very excited and looking forward to this. So it feels great to finally be here. Today, I'm excited to talk to you about the unique capabilities and benefits of the Azure portal and how it can help you manage your databases more efficiently, and effectively. I need more coffee. Okay. Whether you're a database developer, a DBA, a consultant, the Azure portal has something to offer you. And throughout this presentation, I'll be giving you an overview of the Azure portal, discussing when and why you should use it, and then dive into a couple specific features and real-world examples that can help you get the most out of your SQL databases. So whether you're looking to improve your database performance, simplify your management, or just make your life easier, I hope that you can learn something new today. So without further ado, let's get into the world of Azure Portal for SQL databases. The portal is your gateway to your Azure cloud resources. At its core, it is a web-based, lightweight, user-friendly tool that allows you to manage your databases, hopefully with ease. And because it's a web-based interface, it offers multi-browser support, supports multiple operating systems. We even have a desktop or mobile app. Again, mobile app, a bit of a limited experience, but you're still able to view resource status, start your VMs, check monitoring charts. Pretty handy if you're on the go. It has a really lightweight graphical user interface, making it a great starting point for new users and students. But again, hopefully I'll show you today that it's also an important tool in your toolbox if you're a more seasoned user. The portal allows you to easily visualize and manage your resources. You can create custom dashboards to keep tabs on your most important metrics. You can easily identify any disruptions or unusual activity. It is really great out there for anybody that might be a visual learner like myself. And again, way more than SQL databases. You can access hundreds of different Azure services. The portal was built specifically for Azure products. So you have access to hundreds of Azure services, all in our Azure marketplace. So if you have an Azure account, you can definitely build upon your portal knowledge and go explore all that we have to offer. So let's imagine that you're a busy developer and you have multiple databases that you need to manage and optimize. You need a tool that can help you easily create and provision resources, scale databases, optimize performance, monitor everything in real time. That seems like a lot, but that's where the portal can come in. So I've broken down the main aspects of the portal into four big categories. We have operational tasks, light development, index and tuning recommendations, and monitoring. So let's zoom in a little bit at operational tasks. This is where you're going to be creating and managing your resources, managing users and subscriptions, and even implementing a business continuity strategy. Moving on to light development, this is where you can start to work with your database using a variety of tools and techniques. The portal, quick and convenient place to complete quick tasks or grab crucial information to help you move along your development journey. Query editor, connection strings, PowerShell, and the Azure command line. I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of these later on, so stay tuned. Next, let's talk about index and tuning recommendations. This is where you can really optimize the performance of your databases with features like intelligent performance, which uses AI and machine learning to identify and recommend improvements for your databases, and query performance insight, which provides detailed information about query performance and helps you identify and fix any issues. It's a really great tool for anybody that's looking to fine-tune their databases for maximum performance. And finally, let's take a look at monitoring. Here you can keep an eye on your databases and ensure that everything is running smoothly. With Azure Monitor, you can set up real-time alerts, as well as monitor your georeplication or failover groups in the event of a disaster. So with Portal, you can feel confident that you'll be up to date on your database's latest activity and alerts. So now that we have that overview of what the portal is, what it does, let's talk about when's the best time to use the portal. So part of the portal's power really comes from knowing when to use it. And when it comes to the life cycle of your databases, there are some stages where the portal really shines. So it's particularly great at the beginning when you're creating and provisioning resources, configuring server level networking and access rules, and our built-in CLI allows you to perform bulk operations. Once you've set up connections between your applications and your database, more serious development work should be moved out to the tool of your choice. So for example, ADS or SSMS. While the portal does offer a query editor, which again, we will get to discussing a little bit more in a second, its functionality is pretty limited and only meant for quick and light operations. So tasks to move outside of the portal could include things such as database object development, running long and complex queries, configuring on-prem resources. You're going to want to move to something a little bit heftier. And as I've mentioned before, the portal offers a lot of really powerful visualization and monitoring tools. So when you need a consistent and easy to understand monitoring strategy, you know where to turn. And there are a few capabilities that are pretty unique to the portal. I don't necessarily want to use an absolute and say that they're only accessible via the portal, but we are one of the few experiences that actually offers you a graphical user interface. This isn't an exhaustive list. It's what I thought was most commonly used or most helpful. So going through this, some of our most useful tasks that are portal only or CLI PowerShell only include creating and managing new logical SQL servers, which is potentially a new concept for people if you've never used the portal. So I'll talk about that next. Creating and managing elastic pools, updating your networking, firewall rules, and connection policies, scaling your compute resources up or down, also controlling your cost, configuring failover groups, and copying and pasting a specific resources connection string with your information pre-populated, which can be very handy and potentially means you don't need to go to connectionstrings.com. I don't know, maybe. So yes, I wanted to take a closer look at the logical SQL Server concept since its name, a little similar to SQL Server, might be confusing if you've never used the portal. So in Azure, when we talk about a SQL Server, it's actually a logical server construct that acts as a central administrative point for a collection of your databases. Your server is where you can manage and administer key features such as logins, networking and firewall rules, auditing rules, threat detection policies. You can also configure your auto failover groups. Your logical servers don't need to be in the same region as their resource group. However, a logical server does need to exist before you create a database, and all of your databases managed by that server are going to be created within the same region. Now, to explain and demo some of the other features of the portal, I've crafted some real world scenarios. So I've got a company for you to meet. I've got some people for you to meet, and we'll watch a couple of demos. So first up, meet Contoso Incorporated. Contoso is a fast growing technology startup that offers a range of innovative solutions to its customers. Contoso's success has been driven by its cutting edge products, which have attracted a large and loyal customer base. However, as we all know, with growth comes complexity, and Contoso is now facing a major challenge in managing its SQL databases effectively. So the company's IT team is struggling to keep up with the growing demand for database resources, and they're constantly being asked to create new databases and manage existing ones. Additionally, the development team is experiencing some slow query times and other performance issues that are impacting their ability to deliver new features and functionality to their customers. So the goals of Contoso are twofold. First, they need to improve the efficiency and scalability of their SQL databases in order to ensure that they can continue to meet the needs of their growing customer base. And second, they need to improve the performance of their SQL databases to enable their development team to deliver new features and functionality more quickly and reliably. So let's meet some of Contoso's team and see how they're using the portal to achieve the company goals. So as Contoso continues to grow, I mentioned that its IT team has been faced with this increasing demand for database resources. With more applications and users accessing the company's databases, the IT team needs a way to manage these resources more efficiently and cost effectively. So that's where Tina comes in. Tina is the lead DBA at Contoso. She's responsible for managing the company's growing database infrastructure, and she's struggling to keep up with the demand for database resources. She's constantly being asked to create new databases and manage existing ones, which is taking up more and more of her time. She also needs to be cost conscious because Contoso is a startup. So they're working on getting new funding. We're living in economic uncertainty. So that is another really big requirement that she has. Enter Azure SQL Database Elastic Pools. The Elastic Pool feature of Azure SQL Database allows you to manage a pool of databases as a single resource rather than separate entities. They enable you to optimize the price performance for a group of databases within a prescribed budget while delivering performance elasticity for each database. So by utilizing pools, you can reduce the overall cost of managing your databases while also improving your ability to scale and manage database resources dynamically. So one day, Tina discovers this Elastic Pools feature, and she realizes that this could be the solution she's been looking for. As she starts to use Elastic Pools, she finds that it's easy to configure and manage, and it provides her with a unified view of all of the databases in the pool. She can also monitor the performance of the pools as a whole and identify any issues that need to be addressed. So with Elastic Pools, Tina is able to reduce the time and effort required to manage the company's database resources while also improving their overall efficiency and scalability and having a really nice way to control and manage that cost. Win for everybody. So next up, I'm going to play a demo video, but maybe before I head there, I'll just pause and just take a little peek at the chat. If anybody has any questions, again, please feel free to pop them in there. I'm happy to pause at any time and clarify anything as we're going through. So I don't see anything. So I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide and play the demo. And we tested this audio. It might be a little quiet, so you might want to turn your volume up at home. Starting at the Logical SQL Server, you'll find the Elastic Pools menu on the left-hand side. We're going to go ahead and open that up and select our Elastic Pool. And here you will land on the Elastic Pools overview page. Now there are 5 main components to the overview Elastic Pools UI. First, we have the nav bar. Then we have the Essentials section. Then we have our resource utilization monitoring chart, our Elastic Pool storage chart, and finally our notifications. Let's take a closer look at the navigation bar. You'll go ahead and click Configure to go to the configuration page. And here's where you can select your service tier, hardware, and compute power. So here's our service tier dropdown. We have both vCore and DTU options. Today I'm going to go with general purpose. You can go in and look at our different hardware options. Today I'm going to go with the standard series Gen 5. If we scroll down a bit, you're able to see the Azure Hybrid Benefit sections. You're able to select yes or no, whether or not you have that. Change our vCores, simple as dragging this little slider. Same thing with our data max size. And then we're able to select whether or not we like this Elastic Pool to be zone redundant. Finally, if you go to the very bottom, we actually have this cost summary card that will update live as you go through. So you're able to get a sense for how much everything will be costing you. Go ahead and click Save to apply those changes. We'll get a notification that our deployment was submitted and our deployment's already complete. Now let's go back to this resource and take a look at that navigation bar again. You are able to delete an empty Elastic Pool, and you can even create a database straight from the Elastic Pool flow. So as you can see, most of the information here is filled out already, but you do need to provide a database name, and you're able to choose your backup storage redundancy. And then you're good to go. Next, let's take a look at the resource utilization chart that we have on this overview page. So we're going to scroll down and take a look. So you are able to see a couple of different preset time horizons. We have an hour, 24 hours, and 7 days. If you hover over the legend on the bottom, you're able to highlight particular metrics. And then you're also able to change your aggregation type. Next, let's go ahead and check out some monitoring capabilities. So we're going to head over to the database resource utilization. And the database resource utilization helps you visualize your individual database usage. So there's numerous filters to play around with here to sort of help you understand your resource consumption trends, maybe notice any surprises. If you hover over your database names, you're able to highlight their usage. And let's take a look here. It does seem like the Wide World Importers database that we have in this Elastic Pool is using a lot of our pool resources. So I think we should remove it from this Elastic Pool and consider adding it to a new one. So in order to do that, we're going to head over to Configure, navigate to the Databases tab, and then scroll down and select the database that I want to remove. So find that Wide World Importers database. I'll go ahead and click Remove from Pool, and then make sure to hit Save to apply those changes. I'll wait for my deployment, and once that's complete, I will go back to my Elastic Pool resource, and I just want to verify that I removed that. So I'm going to go back into Configure and scroll down to my list and just verify that I only have those 2 databases in there. Yep, looks like I was able to remove Wide World Importers. So now let's go make a new Elastic Pool. I'm going to head over to my server, and if you see at the top, we actually have this button that says New Elastic Pool. So that pre-fills a lot of information for me. I am going to have to create a new Elastic Pool name, so I'll just go ahead and call this Wide World Importers. Otherwise, everything looks pretty good. I'm happy with the compute and storage configuration. The pricing looks fine, so let's go ahead and create. So we'll wait for this deployment. Excellent. So now let's head to this new Elastic Pool. And I'm going to go ahead and add that Wide World Importers database. So I'm going to go to the Databases tab within Configure. I'm going to add a database. It's going to pull up my list of databases in my server. There's Wide World Importers. I'm going to hit Save to apply my changes and wait for this deployment to finish up. Excellent. So now let me take a look at the database resource utilization and see if things have sort of evened out. So now it looks like Wide World Importers is hitting a 60%, which is great. So now if I go into my server and I look at my other Elastic Pool, I'm going to again look at database resource utilization over the past 24 hours, and that has significantly smoothed things out. All right. So that is just an introduction, if you will, to our Elastic Pools feature. If you have any other questions or are curious about Elastic Pools, let me know. We also have a ton of documentation available. And then, of course, I would invite you to try them out yourselves. So next up, let's meet Alex. Whoa. So I am introducing Alex, who is a skilled SQL Server engineer with a passion for optimizing database performance and ensuring data integrity. Alex has been tasked with analyzing and troubleshooting a complex database issue that has been impacting a critical application's performance. So one Friday evening, while Alex is home enjoying some well-deserved downtime, maybe Alex is even sitting on their couch, they receive an urgent call from their boss. The company's critical database has encountered a major performance issue affecting crucial operations and causing disruption to the business. Dun dun dun. Enter Query Editor. The Query Editor is a tool to run SQL queries in the portal. It was designed for lightweight querying and object exploration. So in the past, Alex would have had to drive to the office, boot up their PC tower, and wait for SSMS to load, all before they could get to work. But now with the portal, Alex can easily access tools from the comfort of their own home, and they can go from the couch to their cloud. As Alex dives into the project, they launch the Azure portal, where they know they can find essential tools to support their work. They navigate to the Azure SQL database that houses the problematic resource and access the query editor from within the portal. Now, Alex is aware that the query editor is still in preview and has known limitations. Alex understands that it's best suited for simple CRUD operations and basic queries, and that it has a 5-minute timeout. However, Alex uses the query editor to execute straightforward queries to fetch data, make minor updates, and verify table structures. The simplicity and ease of use of the query editor come in handy for these basic operations, saving Alex a bunch of time and reducing the need to switch to a separate SQL client. But again, when confronted with the complexity of the issue at hand, Alex recognizes the need for more robust tools. They leverage their expertise and switch to a dedicated SQL client, such as SQL Server Management Studio, SSMS, or Azure Data Studio, ADS, to perform in-depth analysis, complex query optimization, and fine-grained control over the database. As Alex successfully resolves the database issue and restores optimal performance to the critical application, they reflect on the role of the Azure portal in their journey. While the query editor, of course, has its limitations, it did serve as a convenient starting point for basic operations, allowing them to quickly verify data and make those minor updates. And again, very important, Alex does acknowledge that for more complete complex tasks and advanced querying and query optimization, a dedicated SQL client remains the tool of choice. If you'd like to know more about the query editor and how you can use it, please do either go poke around in the portal or visit our official documentation, which very recently received some major upgrades. So definitely be sure to check that out. And now I have another demo video for you. So it looks like we're all good in the chat. So I'm going to go ahead and play this next demo for you. I'm going to show you around our query editor feature we offer on the portal. So starting at your database, click Query Editor on the left-hand menu. We have two modes of logging in, Azure Active Directory and SQL Server Authentication. After you log in, there are three main sections of the query editor. First, the nav bar. Next, the query window. And finally, we have our Object Explorer. Let's take a closer look at the nav bar. If you click Login, you're able to change your login context. Clicking on New Query will open up an additional query window. Clicking Open Query, you're able to upload a .sql or .txt file. You can also import data from a CSV. You're able to upload 10 files at a time. Right now, we're going to go ahead and upload 2 query files we've saved, and we'll get back to these in a little bit. Now let's take a look at Object Explorer. There are 3 things to expand here: tables, views, and stored procedures. So I've just expanded the tables dropdown to see my different tables. Within each table, you're able to view which columns are there.
If you click on the ellipses, you'll see 3 different options, but we'll get back to these in a little while. Moving on to views, you're able to see a list of views you have available. Opening up a view, you're able to see again the different columns. And here we also have an ellipses menu that will give us a few options to play around with later. Finally, let's go take a look at stored procedures. Here you can see a list of all stored procedures you have, and expanding a procedure allows you to view the output. If we click View Definition, the T-SQL will be populated in our query window. Going back to our tables and taking a closer look at the ellipses menu, again, we have a few options available. First, let's take a look at Select Top 1000 Rows. This will automatically populate your SQL query and run it for you. Now you're able to view a list of the top records in this table. Next, let's talk about our Edit Data feature. Like Query Editor, this feature is still in preview, so we have to acknowledge the preview terms before proceeding. Edit Data is a feature that allows you to make quick additions or edits to your data via a graphical user interface. As you can see here, you can add a new row of data by simply clicking this button and typing in what you need. You're also able to delete data with the click of a button. Now let's say you're scrolling through and notice that you need to update a value. All you need to do is click in, make your change, and then be sure to hit Save to apply the changes. So now that I've updated this, I'm going to go back and double check that my change was applied. I'm going to write up a quick query here. And let me scroll through my results. And it looks like, yes, that did update that value for me. Next, let's take a look at the rename function. This allows us to rename a table. So let's call this countries updated, and I'll click OK. The SQL will populate. I'm going to hit run. I'm going to refresh my Object Explorer, open up the tables again, and yes, countries updated. Now let's go back to those queries I uploaded earlier. I'm going to go ahead and click Run to view my results at the bottom of the page. Now I have a list of my results that I can scroll through. You can also go and click Messages to view any status messages or errors that may have occurred during the query. We've also included a search box, so you now can easily search through your results. Let's say I needed Orville Logan's information. Now I can quickly and easily find him. If you want to save your progress, click Save Query to save a .SQL file to your local machine. You can also export your data as a JSON, CSV, or XML file. Please be aware that the query editor does not support F5 as a shortcut to run queries. If you click F5, you will refresh the page and lose any work you haven't saved. The run query shortcut is Shift+Enter. And finally, we know Query Editor has its limitations, which is why we've included a convenient way to get to ADS. Simply click the blue box and we'll redirect you to ADS. We'll even populate your connection strings in the dialog so you can pick up where you left off in no time.
So with that, I was able to show you a couple unique and exciting features that we've got going on in the portal. And I Would not be a good PM if I didn't do a quick plug for some customer engagement and customer feedback. So we're nearing the end of my talk today, and as a quick aside before we wrap up, I just wanted to highlight the Portal team's approach to user experience design. So this is a little behind the scenes, if you will. We are constantly reading through customer feedback, analyzing any of the data that we collect on usage, doing customer outreach, and studying industry trends, all to create a better experience for our customers. So in addition to all of those capabilities and unique features that I listed earlier, we spend a lot of our time and resources investing in a number of experience-focused initiatives. So that includes things like updating our most commonly used pages, Create Flow, the resource overview page, the server level networking experience. I have some screenshots of all of those below. But really, we're just interested in understanding how difficult or easy or frustrating or insert whatever adjective using the portal is. So this is something that I strongly believe in as a PM, is really important to our team and our philosophy. I feel extremely fortunate to work closely with what is just an amazing team of user researchers, designers, other feature PMs, and engineers to create what we hope at least are helpful and insightful improvements to the portal. And with that, we really want to hear from you. Anybody can use the portal, which I hope was made obvious through the presentation today. If you ever have questions, comments, or things that you think could be better, please don't hesitate to reach out. I've put some contact info on this slide. You can always leave us feedback from directly in the portal. I've put a screenshot here with our feedback button highlighted. This button appears on almost every single page. So definitely, if you're in there and trying new things out and you want to tell us what you think, we would absolutely love to hear about it. So in conclusion, I know that many of you are likely already aware of the portal and have even used it yourselves, but I do hope you were able to take away the following. 1, the portal is flexible and lightweight. It's a tool that offers support for quick tasks, whether you're on the go, don't have access to your PC, don't have the time. There are experiences that are unique when viewed within the portal. Again, making this a really great place for students and new users, but also just really valuable for anybody that has certain tasks that they need to accomplish. And finally, the portal's a bit of a jack of all trades, a Swiss Army knife, whatever you want to call it. It can be used during many parts of your database journey. And especially when combined with our other tools, the portal really is an irreplaceable part of your data management strategy. I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for being a great audience. And also thank you to all of the mentors that helped me prepare for this talk. I'd especially like to thank Tim Chapman, my entire SQL Experiences PM team, who I just feel like is such a dream team of presenters and mentors. So that's Jess, Aaron, Drew, Suquant, and Subojit, my manager, Anna Hoffman, and finally, Ben and William for organizing the 5th year of New Stars of Data. Thank you to Andy, who was my moderator today. And that is the end of my talk. I appreciate you taking the time again. We do have some time left over for any questions and answers, and I'm happy to do my best and answer whatever you've got for